Do we know each other well enough yet that I can ask you a personal question? Do you mind if I ask, what are the 4 or 5 things that are really important in your life? And for most of us, after we think about that, many of us are going to say, well, it's our family, it's relationships, it's my work and my colleagues at work, it's causes that I care about, right? That's a very common answer. And it's, as a financial advisor for over 20 years, I ask people these types of questions all the time. But what's interesting is if your friend were to look at your calendar or your checkbook statement or how you're using your screen time, most of us would be guilty of the things that we say are important in our life. We're not investing enough time in those things. And that's what today's video is about. It's a hack that I have found that has helped me do better at walking the talk, of actually spending the time on the things that are super important to me. And the method is called the 4 alarms. And it's a daily reminder to take the time and transition from one thing to the other and to invest the appropriate amount of time in the things that are important to you, right? Instead of looking back at your calendar, it's looking at a daily basis and putting in time to do the things that are important. For instance, for many of us, we get a lot of satisfaction and a lot of joy out of our jobs. So that would be one. And, it's an important part of our lives, whether we get a lot of joy out of it or not, right? But it's just too early, it's just too easy, to stay at work longer than we should. So the idea of these 4 alarms, there's a book actually called The 3 Alarms by a business coach called Eric Partaker. And he wrote that book, 3 Alarms, really to get balance in your life. And I'm taking that theory and applying it to living the life that you want both now and in retirement. Because, while the goal and a lot of what I talk about in this channel is to have the financial freedom to retire and retire early and to be thoughtful about whether you retire early or not. But that's just one piece of it, right? To enjoy our retirement, we need the money. We also need time, right? If you work till you're 100, you might have saved up a really nice retirement account balance, but you don't have time anymore. So you want to have money, you want to have time, you want to have your health, right? If you're killing yourself to get to a certain point, and what that means is in retirement, you're going to lose your health. That's not good either, right? And then multiple studies show us that the happiest retirees are people that have multiple relations and relationships, I should say, and interest, multiple interests. The difference between having 2 outside interests is kind of a content retiree versus studies have shown that retirees that have 4 or more interests outside of work, right? They have something that they replaced work with that they're happy with. That brings you more joy. And I'll just give a simple analogy, right? If you enjoy playing golf, but that's the thing, and you've only got 1 or 2 things, you hang out with your family, you hang out with your spouse, and you golf, for many people, that's not enough. You're gonna need more than that. And studies have shown if you have 4 things that you enjoy doing, that's a healthier situation for you. So getting back to the 4 alarms, an alarm on your phone is probably your wake-up alarm. That doesn't count as one of your 4. So the next one for most of us, maybe if you're a morning workout person, maybe to focus on your health for an hour, right? So you're working out, you're cooking yourself a healthy breakfast, maybe you're meditating for a little bit, you're going for a walk with your spouse, or your friends down the road. So that's one alarm, the alarm to say, okay, this is my time to take care of my health, and maybe you can weave in some socializing with that as well. The next alarm for many of us is going to be our work, right? And we get to work and kind of the day takes over. Hopefully you can get into the zone. And when you're at work, you get stuff done, right? That's the purpose of being at work. You also have people, hopefully, that you enjoy working with. But at the end of the workday, it's time to go home, right? It's time to transition into relationships. So that's where, you had your wake-up alarm, that doesn't count. So you had your health alarm go off, then you had your work alarm go off, and now it's the alarm that goes off to say, hey, it's time to transition again. It's time to transition and focus on the relationships that are important for you. And for many of us, that's going to be our family. So that would be our third alarm, and it takes us home. Now, one thing I'd suggest is it can often be helpful to have a transition routine. I used to live about 40 minutes away from work, and I was lucky. I was able to drive for my job in the city, and I live in a ski town about 30 minutes away from where I work. And so it was a lovely commute, and that was my transition time. And now it's summertime, and what I like to do for transition, many viewers are gonna laugh, but I like to hang out at the pool for 20 minutes after work and just transition away from work so that when I'm with my family, when I'm with my friends, I can give 100%. So the 4 alarms for me, the things that are important to me is, I'm a lifetime learner, and so many people might laugh, but I love to learn. So one of my alarms is, okay, this is my learning time. And part of my job is learning time. And then another thing that's really important to me, so I really have 2 alarms for work. Another thing that's important for me is to teach. And my job as a financial advisor, right? I'm coaching, I'm teaching, I'm mentoring, I'm putting together plans and thinking, how do I communicate this best to the family? How do I serve as an advisor to this family to help them make the decisions that's right for them? What data are they going to need to know in order to make a good decision? So part of my day is teaching. And so both learning and teaching I put into my work category. And then, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I'm 59 years old now. So health is important to me. Taking the time to eat as well as I can, to cook as many meals at home, to shop and buy quality groceries, to not have garbage food that's going to tempt me at home. So health is one of my alarms. And then the 4th alarm is the one that I hope I take the most serious and put as much of my heart into that as I can. And that's my family and relationships. So those are my 4 alarms. Everybody's alarm is going to be different. Again, the author of the book is Eric Partaker. His book is The 3 Alarms. I've modified it as the 4 alarms. I hope you enjoyed it. And one of the alarms that we all should be thinking about is, how do we actually enjoy our 50s and our 60s? And I have a video here. There's no alarm with it, but it talks about the things to stop doing and to start enjoying our life more. It's the 8 things to stop doing to start enjoying our lives more. It's kind of part 2 of this video. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.